This is the LEGO Star Wars 2025 Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor, and it might be one of the most overpriced LEGO Star Wars sets of the decade. Set number 75401 includes 290 pieces and costs a scary $45. For reference, Last Jedi Interceptor was Anakin's in 2020, and that has an inflation-adjusted retail price of about $37. So you can see there has definitely been a pretty big price bump for this Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor. Now, we'll dive deeper on the value of this set later, but the box art is relatively plain, with the Ahsoka's 332nd Trooper in the bottom left corner, denoting that this, of course, is a Clone Wars set. You've got your three figures with Ahsoka, Anakin, and R7. We'll take a closer look at those in a moment. And then the back of the box has some much more interesting artwork, along with a couple of the main features of the set highlighted. Oh, and there it is, the new cockpit windscreen piece. We'll find out if it's actually a good piece in this review. Now, let's open up the box. This is a big old sticker sheet for $45, also pretty big instruction manual, and 3 numbered bags. It's minifig time. It's Ahsoka's set, so we'll talk about her first. It's a Season 5 Clone Wars Ahsoka minifig here with a couple of lightsabers, so nice, proper accessories. She's got the same Leku mold from the Ahsoka show. However, the print is completely different here to more properly match her Clone Wars appearance. She's also got a couple of face prints, one where she looks pretty calm, and the other one where she looks like she is ready to go into battle. The rest of the details on her torso, waist, and legs, and, by the way, her back. They added a lot of detail on the back. For the most part, quite accurate, and on this figure, they actually use the mid-legs on Ahsoka, I think for the first time, and this is much different than in the past where they would use the full length legs. This way you can see Padawan Ahsoka here, a younger Ahsoka, have a much more realistic height difference between her and the Anakin minifigure in this set. Speaking of, the Anakin in this set is a new Clone Wars Anakin. I saw one commenter when I made a video talking about the pictures of this figure, and someone said that it was like a soulless Anakin, and that's kind of stuck with me. I mean, this face looks pretty soulless. It just doesn't have a lot of character to it. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think the other face on him where he looks a little bit more angry is a better face for Anakin. Everything else about the figure is quite nice and as reasonably accurate as I think you can expect on a LEGO minifig. Finally, we have R7A7 for the first time, I believe, in 16 years, and this is a great looking astromech droid, as you would expect. I mean, basically the same as all the other ones, just in a different color scheme, and no back printing. LEGO's been giving R2-D2 back printing for the past few years, but still refuses to do it for any other astromech droids. So R7A7 gets the shaft here. When you're asking $45 for a set like this, everything better be tip-top, and this one is not tip-top, but he is very nice. You know, you're not really going to notice it, but you know they're doing it for R2, so they should be doing it for R7. Kind of lame. 3 figures was definitely the right amount for this set, considering the scene is based off and all that, so I feel like this is a really good selection, and it's some nice, fresh Clone Wars figures. I don't feel like they have as much character maybe as some of the older Clone Wars figures. Maybe it's because they've done away with the Clone Wars eye style, but still, a lot of people are going to love getting some new Clone Wars figures, and these are new Clone Wars figures. I don't want to beat around the bush here. Clearly, the most interesting aspect of this new Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor, maybe other than the $45 price, is the cockpit windscreen piece. It's a new piece. It is not the Millennium Falcon windscreen piece. Millennium Falcon windscreen piece is a bit bigger than this, so this is a new, unique piece. It's got a bit more curvature as well than the Millennium Falcon piece, so it's obviously made to better fit something like this Jedi Interceptor. Since 2005, though, LEGO had used the same windscreen piece for every Jedi Interceptor, so this is a massive shakeup, and honestly, to me, it was very unexpected. Of course, changing something that's been such a staple for 20 years brings about some concerns, and so I'll go through what I was worried about kind of one by one here. First off, I was worried that the transition from the windscreen piece to this back area that's all solid white would not be super smooth, and on the box, I didn't think it looked very smooth, but I can confirm in person it's not as bad as I thought it looked on the box. I actually think that transition's pretty nice. Technically, in universe, there's also a bit of depth to the design, but I think this is more so just parts not matching up. My next concern was the functionality of the cockpit actually opening, in that, you know, you just open the thing up, but on previous versions, this front part of the windscreen here would actually be left behind, and that is the proper canonical way that the windscreens open. So for it to be technically right, it would have to open like that, and that would be nice, but that's just not what they have designed here. They've designed a piece that probably is going to be used for other things than the Jedi Starfighter windscreen 2, but it means that there are now studs on the front there, and it has to be attached like that, and so I don't think it's a big deal. Like, it still looks just fine and perfect when it's closed, and I think that's what matters, but it has changed up the function a little bit there, just from what it was like in the past. My third and final concern here is something that I think is a real problem on this set, and that's that the white of the print does not match the white of the brick. It is quite off going from one to another, especially looking at it in person. Maybe it doesn't translate as well on camera, but it's very noticeable. And maybe we can all accept that and live with that and be okay with that Lego just can't quite get that white to look like this white. And I think that makes sense, because if it was super easy, they probably would do it, right? But at this point, I feel like it's got to be on purpose by Lego. They know how their renders look. They know that it doesn't match their real physical product, and yet they continue to do it wrong. There's not like a disclaimer or anything on the box. It's like, hey, render might not match actual product. And this wasn't a problem back in the day when they just took pictures of physical Lego, but at some point they got cheap. Off-white windscreen color aside, this is another really great Jedi Interceptor build from Lego Star Wars, and I think we'll key in on the cockpit first, just what's inside. Obviously, you've got a sticker for your control panel. It's actually the same sticker that we saw back in the 2020 Anakin's Interceptor, so kind of a nice bit of continuity there. Of course, you can very easily sit Ahsoka inside and then drop the cockpit down. Works just as you would expect. Now, with her inside, you'll of course be left with a couple of lightsabers, and of course they've got some storage space for that. You've got a clip on one wing and then another clip on the other, and you just clip on both lightsabers, and they're stored underneath the starfighter. Always love having some extra weapon storage like that. It's super handy so you don't lose them, and when you flip it over, you'll never know they're there. So yeah, perfect little feature. Here's a pretty good look at the backside of the model. It's particularly clean, a lot better looking than some of the older Jedi Interceptors back here because of the newer design with the new windscreen piece. So that's something that got a lot better here, I think. You've also got some great thrust coming out of the back of the Interceptor, and then another high point of this set is that the connection between the body and the wings is way stronger on this set than any Jedi Interceptor before. And that's because all previous Jedi Interceptors dating back to 2005 used this exact connection technique. Now, this one from 2020 had a little extra support underneath here, but it was still the same at its core. Like, you could still lift it up, and it wasn't as strong as this new Ahsoka's one has turned out to be. Like, the wings don't move at all. It's got no real rattle to it. Like, yeah, it's a very sturdy build. They've definitely upgraded it in that way. It was something I noticed right away while building the set, and as you can tell, very strong connection. So for $45, I'm glad they at least upgraded the whole build there, made it a lot stronger. You know, you gotta have those little things if you're gonna charge that kind of money. So that's definitely nice, and you can also see your spring-loaded shooters underneath the cockpit for Ahsoka there. So if you want to shoot those off, you just push down on them from the back. Bam. Taking a look at the overall wing design for the Interceptor, they look great here. And I think if you look on this side, you can see this white pattern on the Interceptor represented really well in Lego here. They've done such a good job with a lot of the little details. The one detail that I feel like is missing is they had the chance to implement a little bit of lime green on the top side of this sticker, and they just didn't. I don't know why. If you want to add R7 into the Starfighter, he has his little slot to Ahsoka's left there, and he pops right in. Looks pretty nice in there. And then the final detail I think we need to talk about are these little wings here. They do use stickers, but I do think it looks exceptionally clean on this set. And when you open them up on the inside, they've got that design, which they have always had, something like that on the inside. So that looks very nice. And you can actually open up, of course, all four. And I always thought the Starfighters looked extra cool when they had these wings open, and it's no different here. Oh, quick side note. It's kind of crazy that they still use the same connection method that they used 20 years ago. Like, so many things have changed on this set, but literally this little section here is exactly the same as it was in 2005. To bring us home on this review, I brought a prop, and I feel like this is clearly a very good Jedi Interceptor, and it's a unique one. It's one that we've never had before, so I think there's a big draw for that as well. Obviously, the Clone Wars ties with some nice Clone Wars figures is going to get a lot of people wanting to buy this set, but the price is the elephant in the room. $45 is absurd. And that is a direct comparison to the most recent Anakin's Jedi Interceptor there from 2020, which was $30. You adjust that for inflation, you're at $37. So for some reason, they think an extra minifig here is worth $8. And it's not even a CMF quality minifig. It's an absolute joke. Lego should be laughed at for the price on this set. I think if you take away one thing from this video, it's that you should not spend more than $30 on this set. 35 maybe. 35 would maybe be the fair retail price on this set in 2025. 30 would be a good sale price. Like, those are the prices you want to be at. $45, like I said, Lego should be laughed out of the room with that. This set's like a 7.5 out of 10. Gets a pretty big knock for the price and, of course, the windscreen print. But otherwise, I think it's a fairly high quality set. Just, you know, $45. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comments section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. You can check out more 2025 Lego Star Wars set reviews on the end screen now.